Good evening, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Lewis of Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be interviewing a unique individual, phenomenal athlete, that he's traveled all over the country in 16 states, as well as Puerto Rico. We're going to be welcoming Alex Cruz into the show. We're just waiting for him to come on the show as we speak. We just invited him, and we're going to be talking about his career and his matches in the past as we go along. And we've heard he's an excellent wrestler, excellent ring lord in the ring. We saw he's taken on many great athletes. So we're actually going to welcome him in. Let's see here. Okay, Mr. Cruz, Alex Cruz. Where are you, sir? Are you there? Okay, I do apologize, fans. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty. We're just waiting for him to come on. And there he is. We're about to add him in right now.
What's up, man?
Alex Cruz, welcome to the show, sir.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. We've heard great things about you. Especially that gentleman that you took on mentioned first off, you mentioned 16 states. That's a lot of states.
Yeah, man. It's been my first 4.5 years of professional wrestling have been kind of like a roller coaster. Not so much like a big roller coaster, but it's I kind of took a different path. So to have been able to travel so much in a matter of 4.5 years, man, especially with I didn't get one of those silver spoons in my mouth. I kind of had to pave my own way and pretty much start all over again. So when I first initially started, I started with one company, got my basics down, felt that company wasn't right for me. I left, and then basically was driving, instead of driving 30 minutes to training, I started driving 2 hours, 3 hours, just to go find a place that had a ring to go train. And once I was taking every and any booking possible at that time. So once I started getting a name for myself and kind of grounded and figuring out what I wanted to do from there, I had a crazy idea along with one of my other buddies to start a wrestling promotion in my hometown, and where we eventually opened up our own school and got some trainers to come and train us. And now, years later, everything's kind of taken off, and Elevate Pro is my baby and it's my home, and the opportunities have come from constant grinding. I kind of had to. I truly always say, if it wasn't for my gear and my gimmick, I probably would have never gotten a lot of the opportunities we even looked at the beginning when I was kind of by myself. But the cool thing was, I had a really flashy, cool look when I first started, and it's I've evolved it since then. But yeah, man, it's pretty cool to see just kind of where everything's kind of taken me in that amount of time.
Well, that's good. Keep that passion. Give that passion. right, okay, automatically, I'm a professional wrestler. They gonna pay this, that's what it takes, training hard, and look for anyone who's out for a challenge. You mentioned it yesterday, I've heard about this guy in the ring. How was it competing?
Dude, he's something else, man. You know, like, one of the cool things about him is, like, he and I developed a pretty cool little friendship with, you know, with working with each other on a few different shows. But he is one of the most, like, humble guys you're gonna meet, and you know, he kind of fought to make sure that he and I had that match together. He said that you know, even though he had to wrestle 2 other times in that night because it was a tournament, he's very selfless, because he was like, look, man, put me in the ring with Cruz. Now, this was still when I was kind of in that transition stage on, like, really finding who I was. But he was like, put me in the ring with him, let me wrestle with him. This is going to be good for his career. I want him to benefit from this. And, you know, like, you know, we had a good match. I mean, it was, you know, it could have been, obviously looking at it now, I'm like, I want to wrestle him again because I know I can do better now. But, I mean, even then, it was still a huge honor, and I was super thankful for that kind of opportunity. You know, wrestling a guy at that level and someone with a name like him, it's just, it was like a dream come true. And I still was like, there's no way I'm standing in the ring from across from him. You know, I entered out first, so when I got in the ring, I was like, all right, good. Then I hear his music hit. I'm like, okay, wait a second. Then he's just walking closer, and I'm like, yep, this is real. Man, I'm a wrestling fan. I love wrestling. You know, like, I'll touch on it a little bit. You said something about, like, you know, paying your dues. And, you know, a lot of people like using the word mark and smart. Look, man, when he put me in the arm breaker to break my arm, in my head I was like, break it off, man. Do it. Like, break my arm, man. Like, I can't wait. He did it. I was so happy. I was like, dude, it's like, and then he kind of drove me on my head. But again, I was happy and hurting at the same time, but it's all good, you know. It was awesome, you know. So it was a really cool experience, man. I enjoyed every second of it.
No, that's awesome. That's like, as a fan, you see a match like Triple H and the Undertaker gets when the Undertaker is present.
Right.
So I kind of feel. If I always ask every time if you had a dream match to choose, you fight first, who would it be?
If I had a dream match, who would I want it to be against? Simple, man, Rey Mysterio, no doubt. Typical answer, man. He's one of the main reasons why I started loving professional wrestling when I was a kid. It was Rey Mysterio. At first it was Sting, because when I was little, he's the first one that caught my eye. That when my grandma showed me pro wrestling, and so it was Sting first. And then shortly after, it was like Rey Mysterio and Hulk Hogan at the same time. So it was like, that's my big three, was Sting, Hogan, and Mysterio. Obviously, you can tell what brand I started watching first, because I didn't start watching WWE or WWF up until WCW ended. I always watched WCW, and I used to think, like, WWE was, like, secondary. I was like, no, because I was little. That's all I knew. I was like, I see Mankind, and I'm like, look at these guys. They don't even look as cool as the guys on WCW, so I would never watch it, ever. But once I started getting older and WCW shut down, I jumped ship, and I was like, okay, I get it now. So, but yeah, man, it's so cool. So, you know me, I mean, I'm so excited for tomorrow for the pay-per-view. You got, Goldberg versus The Undertaker, so of course, I'm going nuts for Goldberg. I mean, because again, I'm a WCW guy. That's what I was watching. So, yeah, man, so I'm super excited, man. I just can't wait to mark out over the entrances. So, it's such a fun time to be a pro wrestler, pro wrestling fan, pro wrestling journalist, pro wrestling podcaster. Like, dude, it's just there's so much to talk about, and you're always going to talk to somebody who loves pro wrestling in some shape, way, or form. So you surround yourself at, like, I go to work and I can talk to like my coworkers and just people, and I'm like, oh dude, this is it. They're just like, oh, it's wrestling. But when we get intertwined with wrestling fans and just people in our world, sky's the limit in conversation, you know. So it's definitely really cool.
No, that's cool, man. You mentioned about pro wrestling. I've been a fan. No, I'm 37 now. I watched wrestling the 80s. And
Yeah,
I really understand what you're talking. You mentioned the trip to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
How is wrestling important? Because I used to remember working Carlos Colon, Vader, a lot of each of the was there. How did that experience?
Puerto Rico was really cool, man. I actually got to wrestle in a six-sided ring in Puerto Rico. It was actually an original TNA Impact ring. So it was very cool, man, because again, it was just super high, a big TNA ring, six sides. So I had to adjust real quick. I was like, all right, not four corners. I can get whipped off anywhere, and I'm bouncing right back. So, but no, man, it's real cool. It was really cool to just touch down in a different country, and man, like, it was beautiful there. The food was great. The people really love wrestling. It's always those. It's like Japan, or you go to South America, those Hispanic countries. They believe, man. They still believe. They love wrestling. They love what it's about. The guys there are super talented, and it's a shame because of just cost of living and some finance stuff. It's hard for a lot of those guys to break out and come travel to the States. But man, like, it's there's a lot of talent in that area, man. And there's a lot of talent that, man, all they need is that one little opening, man, and they can do a lot of good things, man. There's one guy over there, Justin Dynamite, who is phenomenal, man. Such a good kid, good guy. It's in his blood, man. It's in his blood. And, so he's also he's a very talented individual. But yeah, man, it was really fun. It was a huge experience to go there.
Pretty much have a floor to say you want to see that you want to promote out to fans or any fans.
You got it, man. One of the things that I do want to kind of take the time for anyone who, I feel that I took a different path in pro wrestling and to achieve those dreams. There's an old saying, you are the company that you keep. You are the company that you keep. One bad apple will spoil every other apple in the tree, right? So the term dues is kind of used loosely. This guy didn't pay his dues. This guy didn't do that. Let me for anybody who's kind of like put in a crossroads and don't think that, if their head trainer or that one person tells them this is the only way to become a pro wrestler is staying here, doing this, doing that, it's bullshit. What I'm going to say is there's enough content on YouTube to learn, because your mind has to process everything. You need to be able to listen, watch, and process everything about professional wrestling. If you can get yourself in a ring, get yourself in a place with positive, like-minded individuals that are going to help you grow, and you're going to continue to better your craft. If you want something bad enough, you will find ways to learn, to adapt, to train, and to make everything happen. So I don't believe that staying in one spot and just doing what you're told or whatever is the only way to learn. No. Paying your dues is the time that you put talking in front of the mirror to do promos, the amount of paper you use to write down pre-written promos, the amount of hours you put in on a computer, watching seminars, watching training videos, drills, etc. Then you have the amount of time on the road that you put in to get to a ring, to go to a show, to break down, to set up a ring, break it down, look to be an extra spot. All of that is paying your dues. There's some people who might not have the money to be properly trained. And, but if you surround yourself with a professional environment, professional promotions, people with professional gear, you're going to end up being brought onto a path where somebody on that professional level is going to take interest in you, and they're going to be able to help guide you and polish you and fine-tune you and allow you to become the wrestler that you want to be. So obviously, first and foremost, if you can find a good school, get to a good wrestling school, and, soak it all in. If you're ever at a crossroad where it might not be your fit, there's other alternatives, other options. And then again, just like anybody, man, like sometimes you don't always need a degree to be successful in life. You don't always need a school to be successful in life. There's so many wrestlers that have just so many different trainers and people who've influenced them, and they've taken a little bit from everywhere they've gone and just mixed it all in. So your success and your progress will always be determined by the amount of work that you put in. Not the amount of work that someone's going to tell you to put in. It's the amount of work that you are going to put in. Starts in the gym, starts with conditioning, starts on the road, starts in training, and then all the extra that you put in. So that is all I got to say about paying dues and kind of sticking to your heart. And just if you want it, you'll find a way. As far as my social media, everything's pretty simple. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all at Alex Cruz Nation, AlexCruzNation. And I have a upcoming show this Saturday, Revolt Pro Wrestling in Alberta, Alabama. I'm actually going to do a cross-promotional title defense. I'll be defending my Southern Heavyweight Championship against Blake Christian. Super talented kid. Third time we're about to wrestle in a matter of a month and a half. I guess people are liking what we're doing because we were wrestling in Tennessee and somehow we find ourselves all the way in Alabama doing it now. So very cool there. As far as my promotion and my training center, Elevate Pro, our website, www.elevatepro.com. That's ELEV, the number 8, PRO.com. Or Facebook, Elevate Pro, Elevate Pro Performance Center. Like it, follow it, etc. We're there. So that's all I got.
Sir, I would have to say, not just for me, but I'm sure that was other talent of professional wrestling. I heard it. I definitely appreciated it. So we wish you luck again. The show and in your career. More than ever, God bless you. And the hard training going out. And we appreciate you.
You got it, man. Hey, thanks for reaching out. Thanks for having me. Any other time you want to do this, man, you know where to find me. So, absolutely. Have a good day, sir. All right, you too, man. Thank you. All right, bye.
There you have it, fans. Alex Cruz, a phenomenal athlete who just gave a very inspirational speech, which I'm sure that a lot of what he just said, because I was also inspired myself. Thank you, fans, for joining us. As always, tune in tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, for our weekly show. Our episode tomorrow and topic is going to be on superstars who have not been put into the Hall of Fame and why they should be in the Hall of Fame. We're going to give our input, as well as we're going to be giving our input on tomorrow's show, a Super Showdown, the results, and as well as everything else in the wrestling world with AEW, Jon Moxley, of what he accomplished in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're definitely going to be talking about that tomorrow. And again, thank you for the support. And as always, if you have any questions, topics, or comments, feel free to email us at evolutionofprowrestling@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, as well as subscribe our channel of Evolution of Pro Wrestling, and always follow us on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in, fans. Have a good night.